Please listen carefully.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hypothetical Siblings podcast. My name is Nick.
My name's Lainey.
And Lainey, how was your week?
Straight vibing.
Straight. Always straight vibing.
Working more. Everyone in public has to wear a mask now.
Oh, yeah, the governor just last night was like, hey, guess what? That's starting July 25th, right?
Friday, whatever Friday is.
I thought it was July, though, not June.
Oh, shit. No, Dad said Friday yesterday. So I don't know what's true, but...
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah, because we're doing it at work tomorrow.
So does that mean, like, when we go camping, we're going to have to fucking have masks on?
I have no clue.
Because that's going to put a fucking damper on that trip real quick.
Right. Yeah. Our uncle in California, though, said he just doesn't fucking follow it, which I don't respect him for. But he doesn't get in trouble for it.
Well,
that's one of the things is I have no clue how they're going to enforce it.
I mean, unless they're going to start grabbing people and being like, you're either going to jail or getting a fine or something. But there's a bunch of people that are going to fight back because, like, I had, the lady that I was talking about at work last night was telling me, just going off, not because I said anything about it. You see, the governor said that you're infringing upon my constitutional right. And I'm like, we're just, you know what? Worst case scenario, I'm wearing a piece of fabric on my face for no reason. Best case scenario, I'm helping to slow the spread, save someone's life, yada, yada, yada. Right.
Well, do you remember when our neighbors said, do you see the people out in public wearing a mask? It's almost like if you're wearing a mask, you're voting for Bernie. I was like, oh my God.
I don't understand why is a scientific thing connected with a political mindset?
Because people are idiots.
I mean, yeah,
absolute
but it's
idiots.
Well, and have you seen the things where it's like the really hyper conservative meme going around where it's like 2020 and it's the face mask, and 2030 and it's like a little bit of like a wrap around, like a buff almost, and then it's like 2040 and it's just the full hijab. And I'm like, they're gonna turn us into Muslims, and I'm like, I don't think that's how that works.
And also, who cares?
Yeah, what's wrong?
What's wrong with being a Muslim?
Besides the fact that you have weird racist shit going on that you're not willing to admit to, or maybe you are willing to admit to, which is probably the worst of the two.
No, I don't see hyper conservative
things
in my
I see it on Reddit, on stuff. There's a whole subreddit called "The Right Can't Meme."
Okay.
And so it'll be stuff like that. So
that's rough.
Don't worry, I'm not browsing hyper-conservative message boards, everyone. I promise that I'm not that person. Yeah, so with your work, that's going to be...
real interesting.
Well, that's... are we allowed to say where you work? Not like the specific place, but what you work at?
Yeah, everyone. Yeah. I work at a water park.
Yeah, so that's just waterboarding? Like, that's just
self-waterboarding.
Actual waterboarding, yeah.
So
hold your breath while you go down the slide, Jim. And then the mask's gonna get torn off halfway down the slide and shit.
So the cat's pools are just gonna be fucking filled with masks.
Filters are clogged.
The other day, some guy came in and was like, I dropped my ID and my debit card and all that kind of stuff, and he told us his name. And I go in the place where lost like IDs found. And stuff are, and I grab out a fucking plastic bag that's just like wet inside, and it's all his shit just like stuck together. I was like,
here's a wet Ziploc, sir. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it was yuck, but so. I don't know how that's going to work.
If it was wet, why did they put it in the lost and found?
Because it was found that morning, but...
Put it outside, or let it dry off, you fucking Jabberwocks.
I don't know. But,
yeah, so that's going to be exciting. And, I was talking to my manager last night, and basically our security is all rolled into what we call loss prevention. And he walked over, he's like, because my manager and I were talking about it, what the fuck is going to happen with that? because we're going to have to kick people out of the store, basically.
Right.
And then it's going to be a shit fight every time.
Every single time.
Instead of... Because no one is going to take their mask off and just have it off and then be like, hey, you got to leave the store. Like, we can't have you in here like that. And then it'd be like, you know what, you're right. Like, every time is, you're infringing upon my rights.
Because the people who are not obeying the rules are the people who care about it. So they're going to be the ones who are like, fucking mad.
It's not like they're just... Because here's the thing, to get into the store, you will have to be wearing a mask.
Right.
So you took it off, you know, but it's going to be a whole... And then the LP guy was like, yeah, I'm going to see if I can start carrying, like, pepper spray or something. Because they don't. They don't have any kind of weapons or defensive, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
And he's like, I am expecting to get into, like, a fist fight in the next month. And I'm like, that's not great.
That is not great. But
yeah,
what are you gonna do, man?
At least
try your best.
At least he's a big kid.
Yeah.
Like, he's a little bit older than I am, but he's probably 100 pounds heavier.
Yeah. Our security this year at the water park is also very large people.
Good.
Yeah, they're all...
if there was a fucking year to need large people in security, it's this one, man.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow.
That's going to be exciting.
But the other thing I've been doing is just playing a shit ton of Animal Crossing.
That's a good one.
Got 3 new villagers. Well, they're not there yet, but soon.
Yeah.
Fucking Barreled.
Barreled,
which is a ugly bear, but we're just going to see how it goes. Twiggy, which is, she's a pretty cool little, just like yellow bird.
Like a chickadee.
And Annalise, who's an anteater, who also seems really cool. So we'll see.
We tried to banish Barreled to the top of a mountain on the island, and we accidentally banished Annalise as opposed to Barreled. Which isn't great.
So Barreled's in the middle of the fucking town.
Yeah, Barreled's like right next to town square with his Flintstones looking ass bullshit.
Yeah.
It's very, very unfortunate.
It is really. But you know what?
Hopefully he's cool.
Maybe if we just treat him right. treat your bears right.
Treat your bears right. That's the one.
And then what I'm looking forward to is our camping, like you just mentioned.
Yeah. Assuming that we don't have to wear masks the whole time.
Right. But should be fun. I love that trip.
Well, it's just, I mean, for me, it's more about just getting away from regular life for a good week.
Yeah.
Because we're up there for the full 7 days, so it's like just to be up and away is like, you know.
Yeah, totally. Just great.
Yeah, it is good. It's a good time.
Fantastic.
What is that? I don't know.
Mr. Bombastic,
sure.
I think is what it's called. Other than that, I haven't been doing much. I mean, yesterday we watched like a world dance show, which is super out of character for our family.
Sometimes lately when we're all hanging out, Mom just turns shit on. Not because she wants to watch it, or maybe she does, but she'll just find random television that she's like, yeah, this is what's happening.
Yeah. So we were watching that, which is so weird because we like never watch those kind of shows.
Right.
Like any of the singing ones or dancing or whatever. But it was really enjoyable judging people who dance a lot better than us.
I know.
Yeah. So just chilling pretty much this week. What
Very
about
relaxed. I mean, obviously the same thing with all the masks and talking about it at work and, you know, seeing how that's going to play out. As you guys have listened to before, I already have to wear a mask the entire time that I'm at work unless I'm actively eating or drinking.
Same.
So with a lot of walking that my work involves, because it's a really big store. I think when I looked up, it was like almost 300,000 square feet or something like that. I think that's including the warehouse, so it's probably a little bit smaller than that. And it's a lot of up and down stairs and like lifting shit like grills and stuff like that. So if it was just the walking, I'd be totally fine. But then you add the stairs and the lifting and everything else like that. And for those of us, myself included, who have asthma,
me too.
It's not great because you get to the top of those stairs, and it's not like they're giant stairs or anything like that. But you get to the top and you're sitting there fucking, you know, and then one of my coworkers was trying to do this thing where you breathe in nice and soft, and then you exhale really hard when you exhale, so that you can push it all away from inside the mask.
Oh, so you're not rebreathing?
So you're not rebreathing, but I'm like, it's a lot of effort.
That
like,
is a
I feel
lot of
like,
effort.
you know, to do that for every breath, so.
Right.
for the moment, just breathing in your own CO2 is how life's going. I got invited to a party on Saturday, but the party doesn't start until
I walk in.
Well, yes, that's it. Party doesn't start until Lainey walks in. The nature of parties, the party doesn't start until, he said 9 or after 9, right? I am an old person in a young person's body.
It's true. He has one of those newspaper boy caps.
I
you guys
do.
Know
yeah, like
the
little newsy flat cap. Yeah. It's a good time. And so I'm like, God, and I work 8 hours. I opened that day, so I work a 9 to 5 as opposed to a 1 to 9, which is good. Which means I can go home and like sleep for 2 hours and then wake up and go to the party. Because then I work the next day at 10 a.m.
Ah, shit.
So that'll be exciting. That's also the day that we're supposed to start packing up for our camping trip. So
Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting. This is you know what? I mean, there's like those coworkers who you're kind of friends with, and you're cool with them, but you don't really know anything about them outside of work, and you're like, you know? Yeah, totally. So it should be exciting. There are other people going that I know a lot better than him, and so I'm excited to go to that. But it should be interesting. I'm not going to get too wasted just because I have to work the next day. Right.
Yeah, because going to work after you've been wasted is not a good time.
Right.
Especially either of our jobs having to walk around as much as we do.
Right. Thankfully, I mean, you can kind of walk slowly because as long as you're moving, they don't really care.
Right, true.
And then the other thing is you just have to wait for like a call on the phone. Like, and being a salesperson, you make as much money as you are, caring to try and make. So, I mean, recently it's been a lot easier with stuff like ammunition or really most things. It's just like put it in someone's hand and they walk away and buy it. But, I mean, still, the more active you are, the more that you sell. Like, what was I? Last Saturday I did the math and I made like $28 an hour.
Which is so sick.
Because people were just like, I did like $6,000 or something like that. And I was like, But anyways, yeah, really besides that, not a whole lot. We were playing Animal Crossing together, which is super neat. I want to buy a Switch now so that I could have, like, something that's easy to take with me, but I can also play at home. But then I'm, like, looking and I'm like, okay, so I want to get Animal Crossing, and I'd like to have Smash Bros, because how do you have Smash Bros, or how do you have a Switch and not have Smash Bros? I'd like to have Breath of the Wild, because, again, it's just like, holy shit. But the issue is those are 3 $60 games for Smash Bros. I also have to go buy all the extra characters.
DLC.
Exactly, which are $5.99 a piece.
Holy shit, really?
Well, because we bought the pass, remember?
Oh.
Which is why we got them all for free. Also, they just started the second pass, so we have to go buy the second pass because there's 6 more coming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, do you know ARMS, the game ARMS?
No.
It's a, like, boxing fighting game.
Oh,
and
with the springs?
Yeah. And that character just got announced for the game.
Oh, wow.
Her name is Min Min.
I like that.
Because she runs a ramen shop.
Well, for the Switch, since we half and half bought this one, do you want to half and half buy another one and then we'll just both have one? That math adds up.
I mean, yeah, but it's like, it's weird that we did it that way.
Well, yeah, but then you're not buying 3/4 of a Switch.
Well, no, switches. I'm buying half of one that I would have to have here.
1.5. I mean, not 3/4.
Well, 3/4 of 2.
Yes.
Yeah. No, because if I'm going to have it exclusively at my house, I'm not going to make you pay for something that I have.
But when I move out, I want to take that one. I mean...
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know. That's weird.
Think about my deal.
All right, I'll think about your deal.
Thank you.
Besides that, really nothing. I was supposed to go fishing and I ended up not going fishing on Tuesday because my friend that I was supposed to go with texted the night before and is like, hey, my brother's truck just blew up. And I was like,
holy
what?
Shit.
And his brother was driving down the road and his radiator just like, just popped. And so he had to go, and he's a big mechanic man. Very DIY.
I get scared of that every time I drive. Fun fact.
Of your car exploding?
Yeah. Or
Why?
just like stop working. I don't know. Just think about it.
You
like on my way to work, and I'm like...
You're like, what if I just broke down?
Yeah. And I was like, I would be late to work.
Well, yeah, but if you call your boss and you're like, hey, and tell her what the deal is, she'd be like, oh, yeah, no, for sure.
Right.
Like, she'd be scrambling because you're a supervisor now. But yeah, correct. But it's not like you're not coming, you know.
Right.
Just might be an hour.
Might be, yeah.
Or a while.
Someone come get me. I'm stranded.
What else?
So many bugs.
I've kind of been thinking about setting up a bigger fish tank in my house. You know. Yeah. Also, so my roommate, I have one other roommate. I had 2 roommates for a while, but one of them
didn't work out.
Didn't work out, yeah, exactly. And so I only have one roommate, so there's an open bedroom that we've been trying to get another person to get into so that, you know, they can pay the other third of the rent. But my other roommate, who is also like basically the property manager, recently propositioned me to, he said, hey, since we can't find a roommate, because it's been, months now, and we can't find them. Since we can't find a roommate, what if you if I paid $150 more a month, I just get that room to use as an office or a whatever, right? And if I could do it, if I had the money to do it, I'd be like, oh yeah, every day of the week I'll fucking take that, because then I can just move all my TV and shit like that in there, and then it's just another space, right, that I can have. Because it's not like our house is small, you know, like it's probably something like 1,200 square feet, so it's little, but it's not crazy, right. You know. But to have my room and have my room be a place of like just kind of storing things and to sleep and to whatever, and then have the other room be the computer, the TV, the etc. would be awesome. But I just can't pull that in a month and have money to go do things or buy things, you know. Right. Like I could probably pull $750 a month, but I wouldn't be able to be like, here's a new fishing pole, or here's things to put in the extra room. Right. You know, like I get to lay on the floor of that extra room.
And that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
I want snails still.
Get snails.
I know. I want to clean out that tank and learn about how to take care of them and stuff so that I could have snails.
You just need like lettuce and like to spritz them with water every now and again.
Right. Well,
probably need a hygrometer.
So I watched a video of it on TikTok, and they used like the soil or whatever for
like potting soil.
No, but the same kind of that they use for tarantulas.
Oh, okay.
Because there was a tarantula in a bag, and then they put like little figurines in it and sprayed them with water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that'd be neat.
Yeah, it'd be super neat. And also, I think they're just so interesting. Like I would watch them so much. And then I could feed them like strawberries and stuff.
True.
So I'd really enjoy that. So I might do that soon. Maybe Excellent. After we are camping.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Because I'm not going to make Papa take care of snails.
Because he'll be like, what is this?
Yeah, he said,
why?
How?
This is a pest. Why are you keeping it as a plant? As a pet, not a plant.
Oh, that makes me think of a fun story. So Nick and I, and our family, I guess, used to live in California.
Yep.
In this small little
Merced, baby.
Merced, California, which is apparently in Central Valley or something.
And unless you like the smell of cow shit in the morning and oppressive heat during all hours of the day and night, don't go there.
Yeah, don't go there.
Do not move.
But so I was really little when we lived there, so I have like 2 memories or something from there. But our mom had roses in the front yard, and snails used to get on them and just wreck them. So she would like ask my brother, you and I, to get the snails off of it, and she didn't really care what we did with them.
But she wanted them gone. She wanted them out of the yard.
Right. So what Nick and I did was throw them into the street.
Yep.
And watch them get run over as cars passed.
We're sadistic children.
Yeah.
All children are sadistic, though.
Yeah, because I killed a lot of bugs when I was a child.
But was it like
maliciously? Like the snails in the street. I poured salt on a slug.
That's fucked up.
That was more just to see what would happen. And it does bubble up, by the way. But I'm against slug harm now.
Yeah.
And I killed the roly-poly with a magnifying glass.
Yeah, I did that too.
Lighting it on
fire. Our cousins taught us that.
Our cousins did teach us that.
I feel bad about it. Because, like, if you mash a bug, I'm like, sure.
Quick.
Yeah, it's quick, whatever it is. And they're in the way or whatever it is. But if you salt a slug or you like fry ants or a roly-poly, like that's fucked up way to go, you know? And I mean, it's not that you like enjoyed stuff like that, because again, you're a kid, you're just fucking around, doesn't mean anything to you. But I'm talking about like the kids who are like, have like a butterfly and they're like pulling the wings off. And you're like, you have weird fucked up issues, bro.
You do have weird fucked up issues. Oh my god. Borderline personality disorder, hello?
You know. Nothing like casual murder.
Fun fact, I used to be a lot meaner also as a kid, just in general.
Yeah, you did. You bodied our cousins, and I don't know about school. I was also meaner as a child, though.
I just think you become self-aware.
And you're like, I make other people feel bad.
Exactly. And as you get older, also this is just true for me, I don't know about you, my anxiety just gets worse as I get older. It's fantastic.
I think it's a thing in our family. Like if you look at our maternal grandmother, right? Yeah. And even
our mom.
Yeah, I mean less so our paternal grandmother because she's kind of out of it.
Right. And also that side is just not really as anxious like that at all.
They're not worriers.
None of them.
Yeah, but the whole maternal side, they're all worriers.
They're all of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Less so the children.
Because they're children, though.
Yeah, you think as they get older, it's going to be nightmare.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We will see. You ever get the inclination? I was just thinking about this because you were telling a story just now. Do you ever think about like, you're talking to the internet. This is available to whomever, right? And so I've had stuff that I'm like, maybe I should not say this because maybe an employer will find it or something like that. But then I'm like, what if I just tell a story that I don't know if you know or if any of our parents know, and then like they just hear it and they're like, what the fuck is that, right? I don't live here anymore. I feel like I'm safe from the wrath.
Oh yeah. You're an adult.
You're also an adult.
I'm less of an adult, though.
Well, you're younger. That's how things work.
But, like, you're much more out of their clutches than I am, since I live at home.
That's true. And it's not like I have this big, like, crime tale to tell. Well, I mean, I did technically commit a crime in it, but...
My perfect crime.
Yeah, exactly.
Go to Tiffany's.
To Tiffany's?
I don't go for the jewelry, I go for the chandelier. It's priceless.
Is that an office thing? Yeah. Yeah, but I did commit it was a crime, but like a minor crime, and the guy deserved it, you know?
Oh my god.
Yeah. But I think about stories like that. That should just be the lead up one week, is that instead of doing our weeks, we just have story talk.
I also have
a
crime.
That should be like a Christmas special that we do. That would be a good idea for a Christmas special, is just story time. I know there's a bug flying around here. I don't know what type of bug it is.
Yeah, like we could do some like a Q&A or just like story time about like our
1000%
lives.
Yeah. I like this. Good idea. Write it down. Put it on the list.
The list.
We don't have an actual. We do have an actual list. I forgot. I didn't think that we had the list on us, but it's with the wonders of technology. Lainey is currently pulling it up on her phone. So along with the regular questions that you would send in if you want to ask us, please start sending us questions for Christmas. Not necessarily about Christmas, but about stories and things like that you might like us to tell.
Or your own fucking... Yeah, that's what you just said.
Yeah, like if you're like, hey, have you ever committed a crime? Have you ever just chopped someone's tree down or stole their flowers? You know? Or whatever. What other things do people do?
If it's an Animal Crossing, does it count?
What's the biggest fish Nick has caught? What's the painting that Lainey is most proud of? You know?
Ooh, interesting question.
Personal.
Personal.
Yeah.
Don't you love it when you're watching a show and they speak Spanish and you're like, I got every bit of that.
Yes.
That happened yesterday in Supernatural.
Good.
But it was really simple.
It like?
She was like, no puedo vivir.
Oh, okay.
No puedo vivir aquí. And I was like,
I can't live here?
Yeah, because there was a ghost.
Are they like moving into a house or something?
She was a maid at a house and watched the guy get killed
by
the ghost.
I see.
And then she was describing Abraham Lincoln in Spanish and I was laughing.
You're like, this is the best.
Yeah. She said sombrero and Dean was like, he was wearing a sombrero, and Sam was like, no, that just means hat.
Excellent.
I was like, incredible.
Incredible.
Increíble.
Yeah.
Monsieur incroyable.
Monsieur incroyable.
Bon voyage.
Bon voyage.
That was a French accent, by the way.
Or at least it was supposed to be. I don't know what it might have actually come out as, but it was supposed to be. Bon Voyage, top 10 underrated villains, number one.
All fucking
of all time.
Of all time.
Just a mime that actually speaks and has bombs.
Yeah, his fit, his look is so incredible. It is
He's
so
just a mime. What are you talking
above
about?
everything. He said, fuck gender roles, I'm a mime. Also, fuck mime roles, I speak. I'm French. My name's Bon Voyage.
So, you're saying the path to heroism is just defying all norms to become this, like, amorphous, non-identity thing.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't really hurting anybody, just stealing money.
I mean, he definitely caused structural damage.
Fair.
And he did try to blow up Mr. Incredible.
And that guy who sued Mr. Incredible, that was kind of his fault.
What? No, it wasn't his fault.
Oh, no, because he was
He saved
suicide.
him into the building, and then Bon Voyage showed up.
Yep, correct.
Yeah. That was just a random suicide that was happening.
Yeah. Oh my god, he's gonna jump!
And he did. Yes.
And then
Thank you for reenacting the first scene of Incredibles.
You know another scene I can reenact?
What's that?
Save me! You know what that is?
It's Lilo and Stitch. Thank you.
That's Stitch destroying a San Francisco made out of books and eating a toy car.
What is wrong? Oh.
That is my favorite scene in Lilo and Stitch.
It's just that one. That's fair. That's reasonable.
My least favorite is when he's drowning.
Yeah. I like the one where he fits Plickly's entire head into his mouth.
He's like, sorry, ma'am, and she's like, and Plickly's like, oh, it's okay, and I love Plickly so much. That's such a good movie.
All right, should we do the thing that we're actually here for?
Yeah.
That these people probably want to hear and are instead listening to us talk about random bullshit Disney scenes. Well, I guess Incredibles is Pixar, but it's all really the same.
One podcaster I listen to calls them the skippers. So they're maybe
they'll just
skip to the...
Well, because we always end right around the 25-minute mark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we at right now? 26:30? Perfect. You've only had to listen to a minute and a half of bullshit.
Right.
Congratulations.
You're welcome.
Also, this is our podcast, and I'm going to talk about what I fucking want. Fuck you.
Yeah, I'll kill you.
All right, well, that's a threat. That's a crime.
I mean...
Speaking of...
I'll kill your boredom. Ka-chow!
Ka-chow. We'll kill your boredom right now with our topic for the week, which is...
Oh, fuck.
I'm the host. I'm the host, man. Parallel universes. That was the parallel universe of me doing that. Was that happened right there?
Where we talk like Animal Crossing characters. I want to be Wilbur.
We're literally just shouting gibberish into a microphone and then laughing about it. The person listening to this is about to fucking kill themselves or just never listen to us again. And frankly, I can't blame them.
Yeah, I can't either.
But if you stuck around, you're a real one. And you're the person that I want listen to this podcast because you understand my bullshit. Mm-hmm. And also her bullshit.
We got a lot of bullshit.
Speaking of lots of bullshit. Parallel universes. First of all...
Real.
Yeah? Real?
NASA said they're real.
What? NASA's space.
They said they're real.
But what does NASA have to worry about parallel universes?
They fucking found one. I don't know.
They found one.
They said they found one.
How do you find one?
I don't know. Look it up.
I'm not a scientist.
Research, science.
I'm training to be a scientist, just not that kind.
Yeah, you might get shit on by other scientists.
Yeah, I probably will. That's fine, though.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think you're the lowest tier. I saw.
What is the lowest? Please tell me. Okay, after this we gotta move on. But what is the lowest tier of scientist?
Well, I saw a video about it, which is why I mentioned it. Cause like, physicists are like at the top or towards the top, which I'm like, shut the fuck up. Physics sucks.
Physics does suck, but I get it.
Mm-hmm. Chemistry is in there, and biology. I think it might have been.
What about like genetics? Like a geneticist. I feel like that's pretty high up there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I thought you were going to say it's low, but no, I think it's high, because that's pretty fucking cool. Except for
So genocide. What is the lowest end?
I don't remember, but I think it might be something like environmentalist. Is that a scientist?
I mean, yeah, but an environmentalist can just be a person who cares about the environment. Or environmental scientists.
Yeah. I want to be a evolutionary biologist for a second.
That'd be cool.
But anyway.
Anyways, parallel universes. So apparently NASA found one. I don't know what that means, because I don't know how you find one. But do I think they're real? I really don't know, because I have not seen compelling evidence about it. That's not to say that I'm saying that I've really seen a lot of evidence about it in the first place. I just have not seen really any evidence that it actually exists. I know it's a concept that's brought up a lot, especially in, fiction and stuff like that. But as far as I know, the concept is that it exists in the same time as us, but in an alternate space.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the same space that we occupy, but like a copy that is overlaid that we just can't see. And the nature of a parallel universe is that there are theoretically infinite parallel universes, meaning that every possibility that could have been is. So it could be a change, like Lainey and I were talking about, as small as, hey, guess what? Lainey has blue eyes now.
Right. And that's literally the only
everything else
thing.
Is exactly the same, because due to the nature of randomness and the nature of infinity, there is one that ended up exactly the same way, minus that.
Right.
Or it could be as different as, let's say...
Like Family Guy one, where dogs are people and people are dogs.
Right. Yeah. Like dogs, it's freaking bugs. Yeah. There's just anthropomorphic dogs that walk around and walk humans on leashes and shit.
Right.
So, stuff like that. But I don't have any evidence one way or the other. But you seem to think that NASA found out they're real.
Yeah, it was super recent. And
okay.
I saw it on the internet and not from a credible source.
Good.
But a ton of people were talking about it. So I kind of feel like it happened. I just don't know a lot about it.
Well, in the devastation that is 2020 so far, not a lot can break that fucking news cycle.
Right. This is some fuck shit going on this year. So finding a parallel universe, not so... Also,
we'll all jump through.
Right. Also, I think space news just doesn't break barriers a lot.
Right.
Well,
it pulls up in my stuff, usually on Reddit, because it's a bunch of nerds that are like, oh yeah, space.
Mine's on Twitter, because same thing. A lot of people I follow are like, space is fucking cool.
Well, guess what? It's fucking cool. It's scary as shit.
It's cool, except I think it's a huge waste of money.
Yeah, you think so? Wow. Throwing out the opinions.
Because... how about this? Space travel and the plan to live on the moon or live on Mars, I think, is a huge waste of money. Research and things that'll help with weather and like just biology, science, whatever.
What's the fucking movie, like Biostorm or whatever?
Yeah.
Geostorm. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So you want the Geostorm space laser that can just shoot away a tornado.
Right. And that's cool stuff. But like the whole idea of like Earth is fucked up, so we're just gonna move planets is completely awful. Also the shit that Elon Musk is doing, fuck that guy.
How do you mean?
When he just sent the Tesla into space?
Just put a car into space.
I was like, you know how much fucking money that costs, and you know how much good you could do with it here?
Yeah.
Besides putting your stupid fucking car in space?
But now Tesla's the first car in space, though.
Every time I see a Tesla, I'm like, fuck you a little bit.
Like, the person that owns it, or Elon Musk?
No, the person that owns it. Because I just don't like Elon Musk. And I appreciate Tesla's about environmental shit.
Well, I mean, don't get me started, but it's the whole thing where it's like, depending on where you are, using an electric car could be worse for the environment than a regular car.
Really?
Because it depends on what the electricity comes from.
Oh.
Because if you're using electricity to run a car that is generated entirely through like solar or wind or something like that, holy shit, what a benefit. Like, you're doing crazy good. Something here where I think it's some like 70 to 80% of our power comes from coal plants. It's like all of that electricity is coal. Just burning, right? So you're not doing it straight out the car, but it's still happening, right? NEVADA. And there's a parallel universe where we found a bunch of oil and we're doing that in Nevada.
Right.
There's a parallel universe where... Did Yucca Mountain ever go through? Did we do that?
No, because I think a shit ton of people were...
calling themselves environmentalists.
NIMBY, not in my backyard.
But we keep getting on political topics. Fuck you if you don't believe in Yucca Mountain. There's nothing wrong with it, and I'm a goddamn conservation major. Anyway.
I don't know enough about it, but I support Nick.
Yeah, and so there's all sorts of things like, what if there was a parallel universe? Because you could just go on for days about what if, right? So I don't know if you just want to do that, or if you want to talk about what you think the most interesting parallel universes would be, right?
I think we should talk about ones we would really enjoy going to, ones we would fucking hate going to.
Well, because there's like the ones that I think would just be better because it's easier to live, right? Or there's the ones where it's like, I just want to go see what the fuck is that,
right?
You know? Like, what about, again, coming from a science background, what if there was a parallel universe in which the relative size of a female human was like 50 to 75% bigger than a male, like in a lot of situations in nature. So you have these giant Amazonian women that are like 7 feet, and these little like homunculus men like fucking 5'4", 5'5".
I love that because
you know?
I would love to be huge.
You don't care about the societal implications. You're just like, what if I was giant?
Yeah,
though?
I want to be giant.
Take that back to our other podcast.
I want to be big.
But like just big human big, not
right,
giant.
Right,
yeah.
Yeah. That's fucking cool. I think that it'd be a matriarchy, maybe.
Oh, 1,000%.
Because...
Well, that's the reason that the patriarchy is a thing, is because traditionally with men being physiologically, again, this is not me saying that men are superior to women. Physiologically, there is a tendency toward a stronger body type as a human male.
Right, because you look at fucking hunter-gatherer shit.
Exactly.
And all the men.
Right. And so there is the warrior class, there is the hunter class that rises up and forms the patriarchy over years and years. So if the women were that much larger than... Like, think about what a tribe of 7-foot-tall people could accomplish. Men or women. Jesus fucking Christ.
Right. The amount of shit you could reach.
Like, you see that fucking moose over there? I'm gonna wrestle it.
I'm gonna wrestle it.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're riding the fucking moose, because that's just a thing. Alternatively, you take it to a place where it's like, what if horses were carnivores?
Ew. Absolutely not. That is the most disgusting. I just got this picture of this horse with this fucking razor sharp teeth coming at me. Like, ugh, I'm gonna throw up.
And they'd be like shark teeth, so they're kind of curved back towards its throat.
Oh my... Ew. Oh, that triggered something awful in me.
Because again, say like I've told the story to you, I don't think I've told it on the podcast, of when I was fishing and I was walking around the lake that I was fishing at, and I come up over this hill and I'm probably 30 feet from a group of wild mustangs. Now, thankfully we live in a universe in which wild mustangs and horses in general are not carnivorous. Right?
Maybe aggressive, but they ain't gonna eat you.
But that's the thing, is they'll still fuck your day up.
Right.
Right? So I'm already scared to shit of this giant monster that will just trample me because I've ruined its day. Right? Now what if it was hungry? And I'm just like, because maybe one, right, that I could either get away from or injure enough to escape. Not, the 12 that were there.
Right.
And then I'm just like, okay.
Dead.
War horses would be a lot more interesting because you're basically riding a velociraptor at that point.
Right. Or a warg.
Yeah, there you go. Is that the sound that wargs make? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Good.
I really would like to go to a parallel universe where whales never evolved back into going in the water.
So it's just giant land creatures.
Yeah, with fucking crawling around.
They'd be extinct.
You do?
Flat out. Because it's a giant thing that can't do a ton of damage that you could just walk up and kill.
That makes me sad.
Yeah.
I want a land whale now.
I was going to say, the reason that whales are not extinct currently is because they can dive and get away.
Yeah, that's true.
So unless these land whales could fucking fly.
What about orcas? They are a little bit more like punch you in the neck.
But think about that body type, and the only reason they can move any kind of fast is because they're in the water, which supports that body type, right?
Okay.
As opposed to basically being a turtle without a shell that's like 40 feet long.
Okay. So any So, like, okay. Did you watch King Kong Skull Island?
No.
With Tom Hiddleston?
No.
You did not? I've seen that movie more than I probably should because I enjoy...
Tom Hiddleston? King Kong?
Just big animals.
Yeah, we've talked about Godzilla.
Yeah. But in that movie, it's not just King Kong that's huge.
Right, there's the skull crawlers or whatever they are.
No, but there's like more. There's just fucking giant megafauna of all types on that island.
I like megafauna.
Right? Me too. There was this one really awesome part where it's like kind of a water buffalo thing.
Okay.
But it basically has like an ecosystem on its back because it's so it has like algae and plants and shit. And it was so cool. I was like, I'm fucking down to go there.
Well, like, have you seen the pictures of turtles that just have like a bunch of grass and shit growing on them?
Right, yeah. Exactly. It was exactly like that. And I was like, that's just sick. I really enjoyed giant megafauna.
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 Isn't that like, is Ultra bigger than Mega? What's the next one up?
I have no clue. What's a blue whale? It's the biggest one.
That's megafauna.
So then... Oh, so you're just making up the next
one? No. Well, yeah, you got to make up the next one. Like, when do you find... What is a Godzilla? Because it's not megafauna. It's got to be like... Giga. That's what I'm... Gigafauna.
Gigafauna. Mothra, what a queen. How about let's live in a universe where you and I are Mothra's friends, so our friends and family are okay, but then the rest of the human race is fucked.
I feel like I don't want to live in that world. Because I want to ride on Mothra, and I want to go fuck shit up with Mothra, but... I also like going to the grocery store and having electricity.
You don't want to be Mothra's servant?
None of it means I have to live as like an Aztec, tribal person.
Oh, I'd be down.
If I could live in like this house with like my family and then serve Mothra and she like there's food involved and keeps me up, yeah, sure, whatever. As long as I get to come home after my 9 to 5 serving Mothra.
Working 9 to 5. That's the second time I've sang this on this podcast.
Good. I'm sure they enjoy it.
Okay. What's one you would just fucking
despise?
Hate? It can be really obvious or like not as obvious.
Well, I mean, you could always take it to history, because that's where I think it gets interesting, but it's always debatable, because it's like, well, you don't know if that would have happened that way. But I'm like, what if we lost World War II? There's
a show. What's that show? There's a whole fucking show based on that.
Are you talking about Wolfenstein?
No.
Because that's a thing.
I think it's called Castle... How... I don't know.
Castle Wolfenstein.
No. Maybe? No. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think it's a show.
We watched it for a second.
But that's the concept of Wolfenstein, is that we super lost World War II, and now it's in the future with like mecha Nazis and shit.
Right.
But in not the most recent game, there was another one that came out in I think it's Wolfenstein 2: The New Order or something like that. There's one or two levels, a couple levels where you're in America and you get to see what America looks like. And there's like just Klansmen just walking down the street, just hanging out. But then all the like Nazis are like digging on the Klansmen because they're like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, you're the biggest joke that's ever joked. Why are you wearing like the white hood and shit?
Oh.
Because it's all about the ideal and being all upstanding instead of being a fucking spooky ghost man, you know?
Oh, I get it. Like a soldier instead.
But yeah, that'd be a fucking bad one.
No,
I mean, our family would be okay because we got lucky with the genetic lottery in that respect.
Right.
But
yeah,
we
are not minorities in any way.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, to be involved in any type of society that has that level of oppression, I mean, even now, right, with everything that's going on, you have to look outside and be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, this is the fucking bad universe.
Yeah.
How come we got fucking stuck with this
What's
shit?
the thing? Surely this is the darkest timeline.
Honestly, I mean, you look at that stuff and you're like, yeah.
So, along the lines of parallel universes, there was a show that recently got announced called Cracker, right? And it is a retelling of the slave period flipped. So the black people are all the plantation owners and the, wealthy bankers and stuff like that. And the white people are slaves. And I'm like, that's a dangerous ground to tread right now.
You're just making people feel bad for white people, which you shouldn't.
Right.
Like, it's not helping in the narrative of black history. It's just being like, oh, what if we were...
I don't know. No, I think what it is supposed to be is to put it into context and help people understand why the hurt is so deep for those of us who don't, right? But why do you have to have it explained to you that slavery was bad? Like,
right, and being like, oh, well, and people already think white people are getting treated shitty just because they're white. And that's not gonna accomplish its goal at all.
Do you know how many times, because working at the place that I work, you just get pulled into conversations like this. Because it's all about, they're buying 10,000 rounds of whatever, and they're prepping for whatever, right? You know how many times I've heard the phrase, I'm not apologizing for my race?
Oh my God.
Oh,
really?
yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to say at least 3. And that's only since I've gone back to work. So that's only in the last, month?
That's really weird.
Because they feel like they have to say sorry. Like they feel like they are being targeted for the sins of their ancestors, when that's not really what it's about.
If people are saying, hey, white people are racist, and you take personal offense to that,
then you're probably racist. Like, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Oh, that's fucked.
And then you just have to be like, because you can't agree with them.
Right.
But you can't be like, no, fuck you, like I want to do.
Because you're at work.
Because I'm at work, and I like having a job that gives me money, so I can live.
Did I tell you, or the podcast, that at work this man came up to me, and since it's a water park, we have like family guidelines of like, don't use vulgar language and that kind of stuff. So if people was wearing a shirt that says like fuck or has like a nude person on it, it's probably gonna be like, put that away. Right. This man storms into the office and he's like, I need a manager, and I was like, just tell me what's up. Tell me what's up.
Well, I usually phrase it like, what manager should I get you? Like, what's happening?
Oh, really? Yeah. I say, may I ask the reason
what's
or
happening
whatever?
So that I can, you know.
And he goes, well, I just saw someone walking around with a Black Lives Matter t-shirt on.
Oh, my God.
And I wanted to know if that fit the vulgar language that you guys say is not allowed in the park. Because everywhere I see this phrase, there's protesting and violence, and I don't think that should be allowed here. And I'm sitting there being like, how do I not be a dick to this guy? Because I'm at work.
Well, because all you say is, yep, I'll get a manager.
No, I didn't. I was like, unfortunately, that doesn't fit the guidelines of the vulgar language. And just kind of was like apologizing to him and explaining like that's not vulgar language. Because the fuck it's not. Like, fuck you.
Well, because it's not, because it doesn't qualify as like hate speech. Right? Because it's, well, I mean...
But, like, the words strung together don't mean something bad.
Right.
And, like, what? Like, I'm so confused.
Well, and again, you're at a water park, and it's like, are you going to let this ruin your day, bro?
Right.
Because, like, you know how many times when I worked there, I would see someone with, like, an SS patch or something like that, and I didn't say anything because it's like, we're here to just go down a water slide, bro. If you want to go have a political issue... Right. Go to City Hall and have a political issue or something like that.
He said, yeah, and that's one of the things he said is like, I wish people would leave the politics at home. And I was like...
You're like, you clearly don't because you're bringing it up right now. Right.
And then he said, okay, so if I walked in here tomorrow wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt, you wouldn't be able to do anything about it.
Oh my God.
And in my head, I'm thinking, I don't think I could. I don't think I was like, unfortunately, like, no, I wouldn't be able to tell you to take it off. Because you can't police people's clothing like that. Unless it's, well, I mean, I guess you could. I mean,
if someone walks in with, like, a giant swastika on their chest, you're probably like, dude.
Right. So, that was a conversation. And he stormed out of the office, and I was like, fuck you, man.
Said, have a good day.
Yeah. So.
Or don't.
Or don't, seriously. So, that was one of my experiences.
So, parallel universes that I would hate being in. Anything that I would have to go through personally, right? So if there was something where, like, for some reason, people with blue eyes were being oppressed, or even had to watch some group be horribly, like, we're talking, like, enslaved, or even, like, segregation, right? I would just feel so bad the entire time, you know? But also, I mean, you could take it the realm of ridiculous and be like, kaiju are just real.
What's that?
Kaiju is the Japanese word for, like, giant monster. That's the Godzillas and the Mothras and stuff like, because that'd suck. Because it's like, you're just hanging out, and maybe you're in BFE, like, Idaho, Oklahoma, whatever. all that's got to happen is there's a light in the sky or something, and now Rodin's coming and shitting all over your city, you know? Like, and that's the thing, is it doesn't have to be direct. They're just walking through, or they just, like, I'm talking a literal pile of shit, because you're talking metric tons, like,
right.
4 city blocks of just shit.
Right.
That you now have to figure out
how to deal with.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think what would be really interesting if we could go to a universe where humans are not the, like, apex predator or, like, invasive species that
we are still,
like, there are still humans,
and we function somewhat similar to how we do now,
but it's not the 7 billion amount. It's like
there's like a couple 100,000,
right,
and we're like mostly in trees or underground because what's the threat? Line me up with a threat. Like gorilla society?
Yeah, gorilla society.
So Planet of the Apes, but it already happened, and it's like...
Yeah, so how about apes and gorillas? Or apes and
gorillas,
humans switch places.
That would be rough, because I don't want to run around in the jungle and do that. I like having a car to drive and, being able to live in a home. I like AC. Is what I like.
I would be really interested to see how the humans live, like, and how similar it would be to the apes that are living right now. Like,
I think it'd be crazy similar.
Right. Well, like,
the issue is I think we'd be a lot closer to, like, chimpanzees than gorillas, because gorillas, they just hang out on the fucking ground.
Right.
Because what's gonna fuck with a gorilla?
Yeah, literally.
Right.
And if it does,
then the big gorilla comes.
Right. Then big Kerchak comes, fucks you up.
Like, have you seen the video of where
the camera drags the oh my god.
Because, so, for those of you who don't know, there's a video of a film crew, and they're very close, probably within 15 feet of a...
Silverback?
Herd?
Troop, I think.
Troop. Yeah, I think troop of gorillas. And they're walking, and the silverback is in the very back of the line, and he's just making sure all his ladies are going, right? And then as they walk by the cameraman, the silverback just goes, and grabs one of the cameraman's ankles and just starts to drag him away. And the cameraman just has this look in his eyes of just terror, but you can't thrash or fight it because then you're just extra dead.
Right.
Right? And then he drags him maybe 20 feet and then just drops him and keeps walking. And then the look is just this, and the guy holds perfectly still, but it's like, oh no. Yeah, like if they wanted to just fuck up this entire crew, it'd take that one.
Right.
Yeah,
literally. Because that was totally just a display of, like, if I wanted to,
I could. Yeah.
Right.
Or, like, I've seen even a young gorilla just, like, they're sitting there and it's all hot, and he just goes and just pulls a tree down to make a shade for him. Like, just snaps it with one arm, and you're like, oh, okay, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be really interesting.
Yeah. I feel like it'd still be trees as opposed to, like, huts or underground,
Do you think that we'd still make clothes? Just because
if we're at the level,
so
no. If we're
hairless.
if we're at the level of like chimpanzees now, no.
But I just think it's a little bit different just because they're so.
But if it was the case, right, then the body type of the gorilla would remain the same, but they would have evolved to have less hair, whereas we would not have evolved to have less hair. So we'd be the same shape, just furry.
You, a gorilla with no hair.
Yeah, it's like when you see like the realistic depictions of like Homer Simpson.
Oh, I fucking hate
and it's all
those.
Weird and wrinkly, and
right.
You're like,
just
vomit.
Throw up real quick.
Exactly.
That's so. I love thinking about this.
Let's take it to some of the other fiction, not necessarily that we've even talked about, but what if there was just like superpowers? Fuck that. Absolutely not. Not even a little bit. Because you know what's bad? Crime. You know what's extra bad? Super crime.
Super crime.
Because the guy with the gun doesn't need a gun because he can just start fires. You know?
Right.
Like,
you got fucking Superman laser eyes? Dead.
Yeah. Or what's the... I know Gazer Beam is the Incredibles one.
Yeah.
Cyclops is the X-Men
one. Is that the one where he takes off it and it just goes crazy, so he has to wear those glasses?
That's exactly right. And it's always going underneath the goggles, and he just clicks a button to open them.
Right.
Is all it is. Because it's just, how do you police that?
Right.
Because then there's going to be weird classes and bullshit of, like, what superpower is better. Like the flying people are gonna be like, fuck all this ground shit.
Yeah.
Where's a Zeppelin that I'm just gonna live in now?
Well, that's just like One Punch Man, the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have the classes.
Yeah, it's literally like you're an A-tier superhero or whatever it is. Right. Yeah, no, that's your.
And the corrupt bullshit that would happen within it.
Exactly, because they want to stay in charge of society or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. No, you're absolutely right.
Except, wouldn't it be cool if like every single person has a superpower, but it varies on like what it is.
Okay.
But then there's one person that's just normal, doesn't have fucking anything.
So, have you watched? You haven't watched My Hero Academia?
No.
Fucking watch My Hero Academia, because what you're talking about is what happens.
Okay.
So the whole concept is that it's one day superpowers just show up. There's a baby born in China, and it just can freeze shit. And they're like, whoa. And after that, I think they say it's like 90% of the population has superpowers, but there's a 10% that are just people.
Yeah.
That are just...
What a fucking...
Yeah.
Because if every single person did, and you're the one person who didn't, that's kind of cool.
Because then it's there's value in the fact that you are uncommon.
Right.
Right.
Whereas if it's 10%, you're just like the fucking lame as fuck. Get down there, bye. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. But I think... Yeah. Really, it sounds like most parallel universes, not worth it.
Yeah, literally not worth it.
Because, I mean, unless you're like everything... Unless you're like go to the parallel universe where it's like problems have been solved. We live in a utopia.
Right.
You know? There are probably a couple versions of that. But the more shit that gets changed, or the more you talk about it, there's a lot more shit that can go wrong, I feel like, than that can go good.
Well, there's no such thing as a utopia because something is always going to be bad.
Right. And it's always going to be from the perspective of the people living in the utopia. Like, there are mice. Why do we have mice?
Right.
You know?
Or like, you can't say bad words, and if you do, you're death sentence or something. You know? Over, dead. So.
Absolutely. Excellent. Well, I think that about covers it, unless you have anything more to say.
No, just because we can talk about this for fucking forever.
Literally forever.
So.
And maybe someday in the future we'll do a Parallel Universe Cast 2.
Cast 2, yeah.
So that we can come with a little bit more idea of what is going to happen.
Especially if you guys ask us questions.
Wow, look at that segue.
Contact us on Twitter, Instagram, or Reddit.
Or do we have another
Or
thing?
YouTube.
Or YouTube, yep, that's the other one.
Leave any sort of comment, anything.
Or if you want to send an email directly to us and have that email read aloud on the air, you can send an email to hypotheticalsiblings@gmail.com. That's hypothetical, HYPOTHETICAL, siblings, SIBLINGS, @gmail.com.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.